Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Front Row Access Podcast. I am your host, Stephen Russo.
Anthony Gonzalez here.
Let's fucking get it! So, somebody let Uncle Dana in the fucking kitchen again.
We're not joking this time. He has more notes than any of the previous two ones. So.
Fucking for real. Dana got right back in the kitchen, and boy, did he start grinding. Holiday break, non-existent.
Started 2024 out with a bang.
Like, bro, like the next couple of pay-per-views are just absolutely fucking stacked, and like, it's so bad. Like, we got 300 coming up, like, in April, which is, the big centennial event that, like, everybody looks forward to. And, bro, every single card before is stacked as shit. Almost makes me wonder, like, is 300 actually going to be that good?
Well, see, they don't have McGregor on them, so...
Yeah,
yes.
that's the point. I still refuse to believe that fucking fight is happening, like Conor McGregor said on New Year's Day, June 29th at fucking 185. That fight makes no sense. I'm sorry. And I don't believe Conor McGregor for a second.
What?
So... You
don't believe Greggy?
No, I don't believe Greggy. Why would I believe Greggy?
Why would you believe Greggy?
We love you, Greggy. Anyway, so we got a couple of big fight announcements. We're going to go over this week's fight night, first fight night of the year, since this one's kind of intriguing, or at least the main event is. And definitely want to talk about it. We got a couple of big fights that got announced. We're going to talk them. We're going to talk them, yeah.
Honestly, we're really just starved on UFC.
Yeah, we're starving for content over here, guys. The reason why, like, it's been so, like, inconsistent, it's because, UFC's gone, first of all. WWE had no PLEs in December, and then, well, they kind of did, but it wasn't, it was an NXT thing. Like, I mean, like, WWE hasn't, so, like, we've been, like, starving for content, because, as you know, like, we mostly cover MMA and WWE on this bitch. So, shit, it's been a little bit complicated, but here we are. Uncle Dana cooked, and I also cooked. Dude, there's like 3 pages worth of notes on this bullshit, and I try to keep this within an hour, but I don't think this is gonna be an hour.
We do try keeping it short. We just got a lot to go over, and it's a lot to go over.
I don't know, man. It's just there was a lot. I know. I'm like you guys are probably yelling at me through the screen. Just fucking get on with it, Steven. I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ. But before we get started, Pepsi, you know what to do. Hit us up. It's frontrowaccess15@gmail.com. Hit us up with that fucking sponsorship. Go and follow all the social medias. It's some rendition of Front Row Access, okay? Now.
Damn,
so refreshing. But, so we're going to get right into this. We got 3 big fucking fight announcements because Uncle Dana got in the kitchen and fucking cooked again. So, 3 huge fights confirmed. We have the return of Charles Backtat Oliveira versus Armin knocked out Beneil Dariush in a minute Sarukian.
That is going to be crazy.
Just yet another addition to UFC 300. This is a very promising matchup, but I do not think this is the headliner. If it is, that's a really weak headliner. I'm sorry. But we got Charles Oliveira, Armin Sarukian for UFC 300. Number 1 versus number 4. Winner gets Islam Makhachev after he comes back from his supposed injury.
When the Band-Aid gets taken off.
When the Band-Aid gets taken off. Even though I don't think there's an injury here. I think they're just, because there's been so much movement at lightweight recently, which fucking never happens. And nobody's mentioned Justin Gaethje. So I'm like, what are you hiding? I know April's Ramadan for Islam, but, like, is he making an exception? I don't know, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, that's one of the fights that's got confirmed for UFC 300. And another banger fight for UFC 299, which that card's looking fucking stacked, top to bottom, bro. Like, that from the prelims to the main event, that shit is, like, crazy. That's gonna be a long podcast when we go over that shit. So get ready for that, but that's not until March, so we got some time. So for UFC 299 in Miami, we got a 5-round co-main event, finally confirmed. Obviously, we all know the headliner, Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera for the Bantamweight Championship, which I'm going to keep screaming it from the rooftops, Ant. I don't think Chito Vera should be having a title shot right now.
Listen, money.
You know what? Just because you're right doesn't mean you have to say it. Look, it makes no sense to me. Like, bro got 10-7.
It makes complete sense. Dana sees dollar signs and seizes it.
But yeah, 299's looking absolutely stacked. And the co-main just got confirmed. It's your boy's favorite fighter, your host's favorite. Yeah, y'all already know if you've been following this podcast for a while. Dustin the Diamond Poirier back in action, fighting Benoit Saint Denis in a 5-round co-main event at UFC 299. All right, Ant. What we thinking here, bro? What we thinking? What we thinking?
Um,
Crazy fight. Crazy fight.
this fight's gonna be insane. I don't think that Dustin should be worried, honestly. Not that it's not a challenge, but I do believe that Dustin is going to come away the victor.
In this one,
Oh yeah.
So anyway, we'll get back on that when we go over that individual fight. But damn, bro, one of our favorite fighters here on Front Row Access Podcast, Dustin the Diamond Poirier, back in action, and that fight came out of nowhere. But we'll get back to that. Anyway, we also got another fight confirmed, the first title fight of UFC 300, and it is Weili Zhang defending strawweight champion versus Yan Jinan for the strawweight title at UFC 300. So that's one of the title fights. I think this one's gonna be like one of those crazy crazy cards where like there's like 3 titles on the line.
Oh, I could definitely do that.
3 titles on the line, and then McGregor headlines. Dude, that'd be fucking crazy. But yeah, I know everybody's like, oh, but Steven, McGregor's fighting on June 29th. Do you really believe? I'm gonna say it again. Do you really believe Conor McGregor? I don't think you should. He's not a very reliable source. I mean, the way that man was swirling the wine around in his glass and then gave that evil laugh after he said it was at 185 just made me go, yeah, okay, sure, that's not happening. Anyway, but we'll get back to that. So these couple of crazy fights that just got confirmed by Dana White, we're gonna go over every single one of them very shortly. But we also got to cover some more news for you. I didn't mention it in the notes, so Anthony, I'm sorry for the surprise that's about to be dropped on you. But also on March 9th, same day as the UFC 299, Francis Ngannou will be boxing Anthony Joshua in I think this one's a 12 rounder this time around.
Oh.
So we're gonna have to double screen it on March 9th, okay? We might need to bring the laptop over here and be a bunch of junkies for a bit.
Well, it depends on when the times are. Are they like same time, like for sure?
I'm pretty sure they're gonna be at like the same time. We'll see though. But that's another big fight news that I feel as though we should touch on. Obviously, Francis Ngannou just made his boxing debut against Tyson Fury and got fucking robbed.
Looked amazing.
Looked
during the fight.
amazing.
I thought he'd had it.
Looked amazing.
But
Fucking.
I mean, who are we to tell the boxing association that it's rigged?
I mean, come on, man. That's been like a not so well kept secret for years. The boxing industry's fucking rigged. So they're not gonna make unless you knock out Tyson Fury cold to the point that he not moving, bro. I'm sorry, they're gonna give the win to Tyson Fury. Poor Francis.
At that point, they'll just say you did an illegal move. Just like, nope, sorry, you lost. That guy who's on the stretch. Yeah, he won.
Yeah, totally. The dude that's out here getting wheeled out on a stretcher, going immediately into concussion protocol. Fucking yeah, nah. So Mr. Francis Ngannou got robbed back in what was it? Was that October? I think that was October, was it not?
The end of it.
Or was it the beginning of November? I think it might have been the beginning of November. Shit! I don't know. Fuck it. Regardless, Anthony Joshua stepping right back up. That dude's always working. He's always in the gym, always training, always in shape. So, yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua's been on a bit of a stretch. I mean, I know, Anthony, you're not the boxing guy, but he's been on a bit of a losing stretch lately. Got knocked out, I think, twice and lost a decision once. But now he's coming back and fighting a pretty high-risk fight against Mr. Francis Ngannou, who just knocked down Tyson Fury in his first ever boxing match. Anyway, so that's some more fight news.
Lost that. Don't you know these boxing rules and regulations?
Fucking. Come on, WBO, WBC, and IBC. Come on.
It's basically like, oh, you're going against Tyson Fury, you lost.
Fucking.
Wait,
Jesus.
what happens in the ring doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Fuck. Anyway, so there's something going on. My little fucking thingamabobbers over here. Hold on. Anyway.
The thingamabobbers.
I think I got it. But all right. So we also got some fighter replacements and cancellation, or at least I think this was cancellation. I think they're still gonna fight. I don't know. The sources on this are still a little bit, how we say, out there.
Non-reputable.
Anyway, so Brandon Moreno was supposed to fight Amir Albazi back on February 24th, right? Unfortunately, Amir Albazi had to pull out of the fight due to an injury, I'm pretty sure, so we're going to hope the best recovery for Amir Albazi. But that leaves Brandon Moreno with nobody in a fight that's freaking in Mexico City. Bro, you need Moreno in a Mexican City fucking fight night, alright? So, Brendan Royval, being the fucking dog that he is, having just gone into a war against Alessandro Pantoja for the flyweight title, now going against Brandon Moreno on short notice. Well, not really short notice, about a month and a couple weeks, but still.
I mean, this still looks good for him too, because
Mhm.
after this, he's right back up there for contention with the title.
And I mean, if you do remember from the UFC 296 episode, I did say that wouldn't be the last time we see Brendan Royval in a strawweight title, not a strawweight, flyweight title fight. So, anyway.
But they can't believe everything we say because Ferguson.
Yeah. I'm just saying, sometimes I hit the target, guys. Sometimes I get the bullseye, alright? Sometimes I do. Sometimes. But, never go by the Front Row Access podcast fucking predictions, okay? Sometimes I'm a fucking G. I'm the best analyst since Chael Sonnen. Like, that fucking good. And, well, sometimes I'm about as wrong as... I'm trying to think of a bad MMA source right now. It's not coming to me, so fuck it. Anyway, Brandon Moreno stepping in. Brandon Royval stepping in to face Brandon Moreno in a Mexico City fight night. Also, this weekend, Manel Kopp and Matheus Nicolau is now off for this weekend. Manel Kopp did miss weight by about 7 pounds.
God damn.
And,
he had a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Off it.
Yep. So that fight will unfortunately not be going down this weekend, but still got a pretty decent fight card this weekend. We got Ankalaev and Johnny Walker fighting it out the second time. I'm so happy they're running this one back.
Right?
But we'll get back to that later. We also got Jim Miller on the card, Ricky Simone, and Mario Batista. So we got a couple of good fights on this card. A couple good names. Jim Miller stepping into the fucking octagon for the I don't fucking know what number time, at least 40th. This dude's fucking old. He's been around for so fucking long. And he holds so many records. Not necessarily partially due to skill, but just longevity alone. The dude's been in it for like the fucking... Dude was on UFC 100. Dude was on UFC 200. Dude was on UFC before UFC even made it to 100. So I'm like, God fucking damn. The fuck, man?
Keep on trucking.
He just keeps on chucking. And this dude's old, man. He's not. He's 40. And he has like fucking 50 some odd fights. I'm like, Jesus Christ, guy.
Hey, Glover Teixeira.
It's true.
That's all.
That's all we got to say there. But it'll be nice to see him back in action. But we'll get back to that later on. Now, it's time for us to put our little tinfoil hats on and start to speculate these upcoming matchups. Because we're starving for content, so we're going to give you some early fucking predictions and overviews of shit, and then we'll revisit it as we get closer to the date and we get more study time. But right now,
Do you feel us, sir?
Oh, they definitely felt him, sir.
Because you're about to.
Because you're about to feel us, sir, or ma'am, or I don't fucking know.
Whatever you identify
as.
You will feel us.
You will feel us.
We are making that impact right now. Go.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with the first one that I mentioned off the top. Mr. Charles "Dual Bronx" Oliveira versus Arman Sarukian. Number 1 versus number 4. Number 1 contender fight. Winner gets Islam Makhachev.
I've said it before. I am waiting for Oliveira.
Dude.
He's just... This is...
Yeah. It's exciting. Charles Oliveira, another favorite over here on the Front Row Access podcast.
Anticipation.
So anticipation's going crazy right now. So, of course, we have to talk about it. Charles Oliveira, y'all know him, y'all love him. Freaking the jiu-jitsu ace himself. The motherfucker that gets knocked down 5 times in a fight by Justin Gaethje and keeps getting back up and eventually submits him. This crazy motherfucker that went on an absolute tear through the lightweight division. in 2021 and part of 2022, the Oliveira, if you will. And yeah, so now he's back in action finally after being out for almost longer than Charles Oliveira is usually out for. Look, man, Charles Oliveira hasn't fought since June of 2023. Now he's fighting in April. That's 10 months away. That's a pretty long time. Obviously, he was supposed to fight Islam Makhachev on the UFC 294 card. Fortunately, got a cut, bad cut, needed stitches in sparring. So, had to pull out of the fight. Alexander Volkanovski goes in, gets fucking head kicked into the stratosphere to the dismay of everybody here. Y'all have heard me say it 1,000 times.
Listen. Oliveira just got stitches in. Now he'll know to avoid that. That's gonna come in clutch here, okay?
Hey man, all Alexander Volkanovski was doing was using his cursed fight in a title fight that wasn't for his own belt. Okay, that's all he did. Because he got the cover for the UFC.
Yeah, I was gonna say they might not know the curse that
So
you're
yeah,
referring to.
for those of y'all that don't know, I'm gonna break it down for you right now. On the covers of all the any cover athlete on the UFC video games that have come out recently have all been cursed. They have been really, really fucking bad. All right, so no matter what happens in their next fight or the next headline that they hit, it's just not good. UFC 1, first on the Xbox 360 when they first revamped the series. John Jones, Alexander Gustafsson on the front of the cover. Alexander Gustafsson would go on to lose his next fight, and John Jones would get caught for steroids. So after getting the cover of the UFC game, UFC 2, you had Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor on the cover. Ronda Rousey would go and get head kicked into the stratosphere by Holly Holm in her next fight, and then Conor McGregor would go to get submitted by Nate fucking Diaz, of all fucking people. Nate fucking Diaz submitted prime Conor McGregor. Guys are like, oh yeah, nobody stood a chance against Prime McGregor. I'm like, Nate Diaz did, motherfucker. The CTE man himself. Fucking dude slurring over every single word he ever says, but fuck it. He submitted Prime Conor McGregor, and that is something to be proud of.
You can say he took on Greggy.
You can say he took on Greggy, and he can say he beat him.
Can any of you say that? And if so, you should come on.
You should come on the podcast. Totally. Hit us up. We'll set up like a Zoom meeting or something. I don't know. We'll fucking figure it out. But anyway, so in UFC 3, Conor McGregor's on the front again. And then Conor McGregor would go on to lose against Khabib shortly after getting the cover of UFC 3. And then UFC 4 comes around. Israel Adesanya, Jorge Masvidal on the front. Israel Adesanya would go to lose his bid for the light heavyweight title, suffering his first UFC loss to Jan Blachowicz. And then, of course, freaking Jorge Masvidal would go to get absolutely fucking destroyed, flatlined by Kamaru Usman in his next title fight.
So you can see how there's a bit of a curse going on.
And now with this one, UFC 5, right? We have Valentina Shevchenko and Volkanovski on the front cover, and on the back cover is Israel Adesanya again. Israel Adesanya would go to lose to Sean Strickland after being rewarded the cover. Alexander Volkanovski would go to get head kick knocked out by Islam Makhachev, and Valentina Shevchenko would go on to get robbed of her secondary title reign. So, so on, so forth. There's a bit of a curse with these UFC cover athletes, so that's why I made that joke. Anyway, God, that took up a gigantic chunk of time. Fuck!
Now it's only like 5 minutes. We got this. Because of all the stuff we just glossed over before with the matches and the announcements, we now speculate on all of them, so you guys are here for a while.
Yay! Right, so anyway, back to Charles and Sarukian. So we know Charles went on an absolute tear, submitting everybody, finishing everybody, knocking out Michael Chandler to win the fucking vacant belt. When Michael Chandler got a fucking title shot in his second UFC fight, man. That is just Dana White privilege anyway.
What do you mean? No.
So anyway, he got knocked out after he knocked out Michael Chandler after Michael Chandler nearly knocked out Charles Oliveira in the first round. Fucking crazy to watch that man fight. Dude just keeps getting up. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, where does your tenacity come from?
The fiery pits of Brazil.
Yeah, probably. That's actually definitely it.
Imagine growing up with them just shouting.
Yeah. Just shouting at you the whole fucking time. Just you don't go to jujitsu, you dishonor family. I don't know. Fuck it, dude. Charles Oliveira went crazy. 2021, 2022. Of course, he'd go on. Next fight against Dustin Poirier. Gets knocked down 3 times by Dustin Poirier. Absolutely destroys him in the second round, just on top, ground and pound the whole time. And then eventually submitting him in the third round. Then, of course, goes up against Justin Gaethje. Misses weight by half a fucking pound. Gets stripped of his belt. Goes in there against Justin Gaethje. Gets knocked down 3 times by Justin fucking Gaethje. And then dude came back, submitted him in the end of round 1.
Yep.
Making him the number 1 contender. Goes in, fight Islam Makhachev, gets knocked down, but this time he couldn't just get right back up because Islam Makhachev is not afraid to play jiu-jitsu with Charles Oliveira. So goes down, submits the greatest submitter, and then here we are.
Yep.
Well, and then he comes back, knocks out Beneil Dariush, and now here we are. So this dude has had quite the journey. Lots of ups, lots of downs. He's been on a mission to get that belt back. He's had so many setbacks. The Islam loss, the weight miss, the having to pull out of the secondary fight with Islam. Fucking dude's been on a mission to get that belt back. Been more motivated than I've ever seen a fighter, and just keeps getting shafted. Unfortunately, it's like the ultimate babyface right now. It's like it's like fucking getting the Cody Rhodes treatment, constantly getting derailed.
The ultimate baby.
He's like the ultimate babyface right now, like for real. Am
Like-
I wrong? I don't
like-
think I'm wrong.
And like I said, I go by the hunger I see in these guys and the drive that they have to win their match. And this guy, he's like a self-propelled rocket that has one target in mind, and that's the belt.
And he wants that shit back, bro. He's been on a mission to get that belt back. And so yeah, he's hungry. He got a whole back tat with a lion on it to symbolize his hunger. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Got a whole back tat. His whole chest is filled out now with the like faces of his family.
I'm pretty sure I increased the attack boost by 15%.
It
Pretty
probably,
sure.
yeah, it definitely does. 100%. I think you're onto something there. The more tattoos, the better. I mean, you see what Dan Hooker's doing, bro. Have you seen how many new tattoos Dan Hooker has gotten? He got that big ass skull with like the nails around it on his chest. He's got the little flames over his stomach. He's got both of his legs tatted up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Dude had like no tattoos like 2 years ago. Now here he is with like almost every part of him just tattooed.
Hey.
I think he thinks the tattoos help him. I mean, the tattoos help Charles Oliveira, so why wouldn't it help Dan Hooker? But anyway, so Charles has been on a fucking mission, but here's the thing. Sometimes when you're on a mission to get back, you get some setbacks, and now you have to go up against somebody that's also on a mission to get to the same place you want to go.
Oh, yeah.
Enter Armin Sarukian, the Armenian fucking sensation lately. The absolute problem at 155 pounds, has just bursted into the top 5 of lightweight. And guess what, guys? The top 5 of lightweight doesn't fucking move. And when it does, it's a big fucking deal. So, Mr. Armin Sarukian has been on an absolute tear lately. I don't think he's lost a fight in at least like 2 years. Possibly more. Dude has been fucking killing it, right? And mind you, in his UFC debut in 2019, he faced Islam Makhachev. And guess what, guys? He almost beat Islam Makhachev in his first UFC fight ever. And if y'all didn't know, Islam Makhachev's the champ. And Armin Sarukian is now a top 5 contender. After absolutely disposing of Beneil Dariush, like fucking minute 5 seconds into the fight, knocked him flat out. I mean, Charles Oliveira disposed of Beneil Dariush, but it took him almost a whole round to do it. Armin did it in a minute, in a couple seconds. That's scary. That's really scary. Dude's a problem. So now he's, bursted onto the scene. He's number 4 now. Beneil Dariush, unfortunately, he's on a bit of a skid. It's a poor bastard.
I was going to say, while that looks good for Dariush, I don't think he was ready for him.
Yeah.
I think Oliveira's more ready.
Yeah, this is true. perhaps Dariush was like, all right, fine, I gotta face another contender. I just fucking demolished Gamrot about a year ago, so why not? Let me get rid of
Who's
Armin.
next up to bat? Oh, fuck.
Oh fuck, it's the fucking Armenian with a chip on his shoulder. God damn! And he gets fucking flatlined. And I don't know how you could ever be ready for Charles Oliveira, man. So I mean, taking the L to Charles is like no shame. It's okay. we forgive you for that. But you know, both Armin and Charles are like very well-rounded guys. Both can strike, both got power, both can submit, both can wrestle. You know,
They're both hungry. They're both on a mission.
both hungry, both on a mission.
They're
Oliveira, what was that?
They're just in each other's way now.
Mhm.
And when I say a war is gonna break out, I mean a war is gonna break out.
I wish I gave these guys 5 rounds. I really do. And it looks like it's only gonna be 3.
But see, the problem is that both of them can obviously put it away in a round, a single round.
Easy.
I'll be honest. Oliveira takes longer.
Yeah.
He submits. Takes a while to work that, get that in there, lock it in.
Mhm.
But I still think Oliveira somehow is gonna pull a win in this one. That's just my own personal bias, cause
Yeah, well,
I love
we love Charles here, bro. We love him. We want Charles to win, but like, dude, I'm a little bit scared for Charles. I'll be
very
honest.
scared.
I'm very scared.
I am very scared. This is a scary motherfucker.
Like, dude, like, and you gotta keep in mind, like, Oliveira's already been there and was a pretty good champion. Here's the thing: Armin hasn't tasted that gold yet. My man is foaming at the mouth. He's seething. He wants that fucking title shot, and he wants to beat Islam this time. Not come this close to beating Islam. Nah, beat Islam this time. So, dude's got a massive chip on his shoulder. So does Charles Oliveira. And the one thing that I gotta say, it's gonna be an interesting fight. It's gonna be exciting. And I don't know, somebody's getting finished. Hopefully it's Armin getting finished by Charles Oliveira, but I don't fucking easily Armin could finish Charles Oliveira too.
And
So
as usual with our predictions, it's gonna go to decision.
usually, I mean,
Oh, he cursed. Is this podcast cursed?
it fucking might be, man. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done to make it cursed.
If it is cursed though, and anyone in the UFC happens to notice, feel free to come on and we'll speculate. You know,
Just hit us up. If our podcast is cursed and you guys are noticing it, and if we predicted you to win and you didn't win, let us know. And we'll have you on, and then we'll be like, okay, look, we're sorry about that. And then next time you fight, we're gonna say that the other guy's gonna win.
Yes.
And then you'll win.
Exactly.
Like anybody of that high caliber is watching our fucking podcast right now. I don't think so.
But hey, if they are,
there's always that chance. There's always a chance. There's always a chance. We're on YouTube and Spotify. So, well, I've been pretty bad with Spotify lately. The past 2 episodes aren't even on there yet. But
he said yeah.
yeah, they'll get there. You're just gonna get like a massive like upload dump on Spotify very shortly. But anyway, both of these guys can finish each other, and I know it. And what I'm most excited to see is, I mean, both guys can strike, but I want to see that ground battle between the two of them. I'll be honest, because Armin's good down there. So is Charles. So I'm kind of excited to see the grappling exchanges that we might see some like high level fucking jujitsu up in that bitch.
I like how you said might.
Yeah, we are gonna see some high level jujitsu up in that bitch.
Wait, who's headline? Oliveira?
Oh, it's Oliveira, the jujitsu guy. Yeah. So
She's gonna predict that. It's just gonna be a knockout.
Imagine like it's just a straight kickboxing fight the whole time. There's not one takedown, not one grappling exchange. It's just a kickboxing match.
I don't think our curse could ever be that strong.
I don't think it's that bad. But shit, bro. I don't even know if we're cursed. I think we're just bad at making predictions.
Yeah, we just let our bias interfere.
Yeah.
Which is why we do it.
Exactly. This is our platform, man.
Yeah, we're not gonna go with the 6. We're gonna let
What do we do?
how we feel about the fighters go. If you want straight statistics, you can look it up.
Exactly. There are plenty of other analyst channels, man. We're a commentary channel, okay? We're here to tell you how we feel about things. So, fucking deal with it. You bastards! No, I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Thank you for the fucking. I think we got like 20 fucking something views on the last podcast. That was pretty good.
Fuck yeah.
Our 2023 award night. That was it's pretty good. And it was a good showing on that one. I was hoping it would do good. But anyway, so it should be an interesting fight. But Armin's fucking dangerous, and he's seething at the mouth. He wants to taste that gold. He wants that title shot. And now that he's in the top 5, he's so close to it.
Who do you think is more, I'm going to use the word, vengeful for that fight? Like, do you think Oliveira wants to take freaking Makhachev down more so than Sarukian? Or do you think Sarukian wants to have that win?
Can I choose all of the above for this? Because honestly, they both have a vengeance.
This is going to be
They both have a vendetta.
one hell of a vendetta.
They both have a fucking vendetta. I mean, in your first fight, you take the current champion to the limit, and he gets a better treatment because he knows Khabib than you did. Bro, I'd be fucking pissed. I'd be like, yo, if you didn't know Khabib, bro, they'd be catapulting me more, type deal. Plus, Armin's got Armenia behind him.
Yep.
And you know how the Armenians are, man. They're very prideful about their nation and where they come from and their heritage and everything that they've survived because they have survived a lot as a nation. And
I know a couple of Armenian. Yep.
And guess what, guys? Dana loves it when the whole country's on somebody's side. Look at Connor,
Wow.
Patty.
This is not good in that eyes because Oliveira has a country on his side.
Yeah, he's got Brazil.
Armenia has a country. So which one does Dana like more?
I think he might like Brazil more. Just saying. But regardless though, I can't wait for this fight, but I also don't want this fight to happen because I'm so fucking scared for Charles Oliveira right now, but I'm going to have my hope. I'm going to hope he comes out with a win, man. If I were to give an early prediction, bro, I don't even fucking know, man. As much as fucking both of them want it, bro. Both of them want
I'll
it.
give a prediction then. You can go after me.
Okay.
You said this is only 3 rounds, right?
It's a 3-rounder, yes.
So far. Oliveira submits second round.
Oliveira submission second round.
End half of the second round.
End half of the second round. Okay. I like that prediction. But man, I think Armin's hungrier. I want Charles to win so bad. I'm gonna root for Charles, but I just feel like Armin's gonna get it done, probably by a decision. I think he'll razor it out.
Think all 3 rounds?
I'm thinking all 3 rounds.
So the thing with these two is, in my eyes, just saying my own personal view on this, Armin, fucking explosive.
Oh yeah.
He is definitely a knockout type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting him to rush it. Try taking down Oliveira first round, which he definitely could do.
100%.
I'm not saying he can't. I'm just also guessing that Oliveira is going to be prepared for that, because that tends to be his styles right now. Knockouts, as I would say.
Yeah.
And so he'll outlast it, and that with Charles having more experience with more rounds, he'll know how to drag it out and eventually get the upper hand in the second round.
Yeah, so I mean, fucking, I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Armin for now, but that could very much change.
Armin, decision, right?
Decision or like, all right, I'm gonna modify a little bit. It's decision or a very late finish, because I think they're gonna go to war. And I know I said somebody's probably gonna get finished. That's why I'm saying a decision, because I don't know what kind of finish it's gonna be. But
Armin, how many, has he gone all the rounds before?
Oh yeah, he has. He went all rounds against Gamrot in one of their main events, and he beat him.
All right, we spent a lot of time on that one.
Mm-hmm. So shit, guys.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Armin right now, but as UFC 300 gets closer, I'm gonna keep debating this back and forth in my head. So fucking, it might my final. That's not my final prediction. Obviously, these are early predictions. These are early callings. We still got more study time. We still got more pondering time. These just got announced on Tuesday.
And we hunger for the MMA.
For real. And so we're giving you the content. Anyway, so we got another big fight, obviously. We got Charles, Anthony's favorite as of right now, and we got my favorite fighting. Guys, the Diamond's back, baby. And when Diamond's back in town, it's wartime, baby. So, time for me to get my little Dustin Poirier rally cap on, and let's fucking get it, because Dustin the Diamond Poirier is facing Benoit Saint-Denis in a 5-round co-main event on UFC 299. Talk about setting up a main event with a fucking banger. First of all, because the main event is supposed to be Cheeto and O'Malley, right? And then you got Dustin and Saint-Denis in the co-main. That's fucking crazy. Now this, guys, since it is Dustin Poirier, this is my main event of the night. I'm going to expend the most energy on this fight. I'm going to shake in tremendous amounts of nervousness while they're about to fight, and then I'm going to jump for joy if Dustin wins, and I'm going to be totally upset if Dustin loses.
I'm gonna say this is also gonna be my main event because honestly, I'm still not, all Sean O'Malley.
Still not Sean O'Malley yet.
I don't hate the guy. I think he's a great champion. I think he's definitely a good fighter, but
100%.
I like Dustin's fights more.
Oh, Dustin's just notorious for wars.
I
So,
I like watching his fights more. I anticipate them more.
so do I. I do like O'Malley.
Yeah, I
And
wonder why.
not like he's my favorite or anything. But, So, guys, this is my main event of the evening. I'm going to expend the most amount of energy on this fight. I'm not going to have a voice the next day because of this fight. And, for better or for worse. So, first of all, I gotta say, how the fuck did that happen? That came out of fucking nowhere. I wasn't expecting Dustin to fight anytime soon. I really wasn't. Especially after a loss like that to Justin Gaethje, getting put on his fucking ass like that, being on the receiving end of the people's elbow by Herb Dean after falling on his ass due to a Gaethje head kick. Because who the fuck predicted a Gaethje head kick as the motive of victory for?
Honestly, all last year I was expecting kick knockouts since freaking Salt Lake City.
Since Leon did the whole.
Since then, I'm just like, all right, there's gonna be a kick knockout. I know it.
Hey, there's Isaac. He's
Hey,
in
there's
frame.
Isaac there.
He's just chilling. Anyway, so here we go. This fight kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting Dustin to take a fight so soon. But then again, he fought in July. This one's gonna be in March. It's like what? How many months? I can't math right now.
You got April, May, June afterwards, so that brings it to like 8 months.
Yeah, so
Something like that.
looking back at it, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty consecutive schedule. Plus, Dustin is not gonna shy away from
Anybody?
the octagon.
No.
At all.
No.
I'm surprised he didn't want to fight earlier. Just like, get me in there.
Get me in there. Maybe he was still trying to clear the cobwebs out from Justin Gaethje. Because
the Shadow Realm is always an experience.
Oh, maybe he was having an extended dinner with Alexander Volkanovski down there in the Shadow Realm. Oh man.
Giving some pointers on climbing up the ranks,
Oh.
defending, and all that.
Oh man. That hurt last year, guys. That hurt. My two favorite fighters got fucking knocked out the same way. But shit, man. Is what it is. But Dustin's back now, and I'm super, super happy. So this one kind of came out of nowhere. And, once I like to say this is given 155 lightweight division some very much needed movement. Because, as I mentioned, the top 5 of lightweight doesn't move. Or at least it hasn't moved in a good 3 years. Right? Because last time it moved was when Michael Chandler got into the rankings after making his debut and knocking out Dan Hooker. Right? He knocked out Dan Hooker to get his number 5 rating. Right? And then that was the only time that somebody got added to the top 5. Ever since then, the same top 5 has been going on and on. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Islam Makhachev broke into the top 5 as well after Michael Chandler. But regardless, though, that top 5 didn't move much at all. It hasn't moved. It's always been Charles, it's been Justin, it's been Dustin, it's been Beneil, it's been Chandler, and it's been Islam. So, which makes sense. Those are all top-level guys, high-level guys, but now we get to see some movement. With Armin just knocking out Dariush, getting into the top 5, that's fucking crazy.
I think didn't Armin credit him afterwards for actually taking on the fight because it's so tough to break into the top five?
Yeah, he did. Because Armin's just that guy. So, anyway, so now Dustin Poirier, our number 3 ranked lightweight, is facing number 12 Benoit Saint-Denis. I'm like, that's that's a jump. That's a jump. But knowing Dustin Poirier, Dustin's not one to take, because after getting knocked out like that, usually somebody will want like something of a tune-up fight. After that, not really somebody that's high level, but somebody that more than likely they'll beat. Uh, he didn't take a tune-up fight here. Nah, Benoit Saint-Denis fucking scary, guys. Dude's on a 5-fight winning streak, all 5 fights by finish. And I'm like, 6 fights in the UFC. He's only lost once by a decision. And ever since then, it's been just stoppage upon stoppage. And he's derailed 2 hype trains. And he knocked out, no, he submitted Ismail Bonfim after Ismail Bonfim flatlined Terrence McKinney. Poor Terrence McKinney. But he's on the wrong end of that fucking knee. I bet he'll never wear those yellow pants again. But he derailed that hype train, and then of course Matt the Steamroller Frivola, if you will. He had some hype behind him. He was getting a good fan base going. And unfortunately, he was on the wrong end of a fucking head kick by Benoit Saint-Denis.
He got fed.
And he got absolutely wasted. But here's the thing, guys. He was number 13 at the time. And Benoit Saint-Denis hasn't been in a 5-round fight either. Dustin's been in plenty. He knows what's up. Plus, both guys are dangerous, as I said. Dustin's game is hell. And, he brings war every single time. Like, he goes out there with the war hat on. Like, right before he goes into the fight, he's like, it's wartime, baby. Shit like that. So, like, dude's game is hell. Dude loves the fight. And it's just violence. And when asked if he's going to slow it down since he's reaching, not so much the decline, but, like the,
Twilight Age.
like the twilight of his career, they're like, "Do you plan on slowing down anytime soon?" And Dustin, being Dustin's like, "Nah, it's whenever I'm in there, it's war. It's gonna be violence." And I'm like, "That's such a Dustin response." But regardless, guys. So Dustin's game is hell, but Benoit Saint-Denis, like I say, he's on that 5-fight finish streak, and he's got the entirety of France behind him, and he's got quite the hype train right now. So dude is riding some coattails, and he's looked great each time he's fought. But I did notice a couple of things with Benoit watching his fights back. Is after hearing, I've heard Benoit Saint-Denis' name before. I've seen him fight, but I never really paid attention. I usually don't really pay attention to somebody until they're top 10 or about to be in top 5. You know what I mean? Not so much that they're top 15. But then I went back and I watched his fights, and I noticed a couple of things with Benoit. The dude's aggressive, and the dude's powerful, 100%, and he can grapple and strike pretty well. But I noticed he tends to overextend a lot with his punches. He rushes in and shit. And in every single one of his fights, he got taken down. Put on his back for at least a minute by guys that aren't on Dustin's level and were primarily kickboxers as a fighting style. And he got taken down by them. So I did notice a couple of things about Benoit, some holes in the game that Mr. Poirier can definitely exploit on. But the dude's still dangerous. He's still aggressive, and he's got a lot of pressure. He's always pressuring. But here's the thing: we saw Dustin deal with Michael Chandler pressure and be okay. Well, not okay, but he dealt with it. But he dealt with it, and he protected himself, and he weathered the storm. So, and I'll tell you guys, Benoit Saint-Denis' pressure is nowhere near Michael Chandler pressure. Not in the slightest. Benoit power is not Michael Chandler power. This is certain. And we saw how that fight went with Dustin and Michael Chandler. Dustin ended up getting it done, 3rd-round submission, right? So, it really comes down to 2 things with this fight. I've really narrowed it down. It's, does Dustin still got it? Does he still got that dog in him? And I'm gonna tell you guys, he does. I think he does. I mean, yeah, he's got the money. He had the Connor fights. He's got the businesses outside of the UFC. But like, the dude still loves to fight. He still likes to train. He's always at the gym. He's not just hanging out on his yacht all day like another certain someone that he might have beaten by the name of, I don't know, Conor McGregor. But like, here's the thing, Dustin Poirier, he's like, even though he's living like a baller, he's still like training. He still wants to fight, and he only takes fights that like really interest him. And this is a fight like at first I thought like, nah, man, why is he fighting Benoit? But then I'm like, exactly. Nobody else wants to fight Benoit. He's a dangerous fight. He can make it can make you look bad if you're on the wrong end of his punches. But Dustin tends to fight better, train better against a guy he's scared to fight. We saw that with Chandler. Poirier is on record saying that he was scared to fight Chandler, and that's what made him train extra hard. So, to me, that just shows that Dustin likes to be scared, because then that gets him to train harder. It gets him to stay up at night a bit, being like, "Oh, how can I beat this guy? How can I beat this guy?" Plus, gotta mention, guys, if Dustin does lose this fight, yeah, that's pretty bad for Dustin. I'll be honest, that's really bad for Dustin. Yeah, I'm like the biggest Dustin Glazer ever, but like, dude, if he loses to Benoit, he can kiss his title aspirations goodbye, honestly. But if he can somehow make an absolute statement against Benoit and like show that he's still got it, possibly by getting a stoppage on him in like some emphatic way, then he could be right back into the picture of, well, who does Dustin fight now? Does he fight the loser of Oliveira and Armin? Does he fight the loser of Islam and whoever wins that fight? He's right back up there, especially if he gets a knockout victory like that. But if Benoit Saint-Denis uh, finishes Dustin Poirier, which Benoit Saint-Denis sits as a favorite right now, a slight favorite over Dustin Poirier.
So
If
you're
he
saying I'll make money if I bet on Poirier?
Dustin, yes.
Awesome.
If you pound that Dustin money line, I think you're gonna get paid, honestly. Because I mean, I looked at the early odds. Of course, these always change. They always change. But
Now you sound like a bookie.
uh,
They always change.
they always change. But it's true though. The betting odds do change. And as of right now, Dustin's the underdog. And I'm like, just because he got knocked out by Justin Gaethje, I'm like, dude, he got knocked out by Justin Gaethje. Like, dude has cinder blocks for hands and apparently baseball bats for shins. So, uh, and like, Gaethje's that guy. He just got a bunch of natural power behind him. Like when he hits you, it fucking hurts. I mean, I've never experienced it, nor do I really want to, but from what I've seen, and how it affects people, bro, it fucking puts them on their ass. Like, Gaethje power is something different. And I'm like, so you're making Dustin Poirier the underdog simply because he got knocked out by Justin Gaethje, a guy he beat before? Like, okay.
Well, it's someone coming off a loss versus someone coming off a win.
That's true. I mean, it could come down to that, but like, it's just like losing to Gaethje, man. That's like no harm, no foul. You lost to Gaethje. Like, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, they're 1-1. They both knocked each other out, but it's 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 definitely a fight that I got to keep my eye on. And of course, I'm gonna keep my eye on it. I've already watched his opponent a couple of times, trying to see how can he win, because that's just me.
Breaking down how he overextends himself.
Yeah, because I mean, you see it, and I'm like, okay. So early prediction, man. I'm telling you, fucking hammer that Poirier money line right now. I don't think Dustin should worry too much. I mean, he should worry. Don't get me wrong. I mean, everybody has a puncher's kicker's chance going in. Anybody does, especially a hungry contender like Benoit. It's just, dude, Benoit's never been in a 5-round fight. All the people that he's finished have not really been on his level. And, like I said, his striking's not as crisp. And leaves his hands down a lot, and he's been susceptible to getting taken down. I saw him get taken down in every single one of his fights, and was on his back for at least a minute. And yeah, so honestly, guys, I got Dustin Poirier by a third round TKO. I'll even get specific. Anthony, I kind of just did not let you talk that whole time. I'm very sorry.
Well, Poirier's your guy. Now, unfortunately for you, I'm not as big a Poirier fan. So I'm gonna actually give a fighting chance to, you know, the other guy. But here's what I want to say.
I mean, I'm giving him a fighting chance too.
Poirier's got this. You know, like I said, if I put money on Poirier, I'm getting paid. You know, but I can see him losing if he doesn't weather and if he can't counter the explosiveness that one of these young up and comers have going into the fight.
And this is
So the serious damage that he'll take will probably be first round, but after that, smooth sailing.
because you also got to think about it. Like Dustin may be 34 years old. I mean, he's not old, but he isn't a spring chicken anymore. He's kind of at that point of his career, and I'm like, I mean, he did just get fucking chinned by Justin Gaethje. So I mean, and he's had over 30 fights, and dude's accumulated a lot of damage over the years. So like, I'm not in any way trying to overlook Benoit at all. I can understand why he's the favorite. I'm just saying what I'm thinking. I think Dustin is just got more experience in the fifth round, more experience in big moments like this, when his career kind of depends on it. Because I mean, if Poirier loses this one, I wouldn't be surprised if he just fucking hangs it up. I'll be honest. So I mean, to my own dismay, I'd hate to see that, but it's just fighting these. That's the risk that you take with fighting these up and comers. I mean, you saw Gaethje do it with Fiziev. Everybody was like, "Oh boy, Fiziev's going against Gaethje," and then that first round, Gaethje lost, like flat out. Gaethje lost that round. But then he went back to his corner. He got himself together again, and then went out there and fucking smoked him. He didn't smoke him, but convincingly won the next two rounds. Possibly 10-8'd him in the third. And I as much as I hate making parallels with Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, that's what I kind of see happening here. I think Dustin's gonna have a hard early time in the fight because he's not gonna be quite ready for that, like that kind of hunger coming at him. You know what I mean? But like ultimately, like I think Dustin will do what he normally does. He's gonna continue to be that diamond shining under pressure, and then he'll find him. And I think he'll just get the job done. But I don't think it's gonna be easy. I don't think he's gonna walk in there and like fucking sleep him in 10 seconds. If he does, that's fucking great. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Dustin's gonna have some trouble in this fight, but I just see Dustin finding a way to get it done in the third round, and that's how I see it. I'd also love to see Dustin Poirier use his jiu-jitsu a little bit, but I don't know who's got the superiority when it comes to the ground game. I mean, Benoit's got good ground game, but like so does Dustin. No, I don't know. But regardless, guys, that's a good fight. That's exciting. I can't wait for that one. And I couldn't ask for a better co-headliner to UFC 299 than that one right there. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you only just got to your second two?
Yeah. Well,
You've
I
been
was
slacking.
I was blabbering over here about Dustin Poirier. What? Don't gotta ask me twice to talk up about Dustin Poirier. Anyway, first title fight, UFC 300 got confirmed. We got Weili Zhang, we got Yao Jinan battling it out for the fucking strawweight title, UFC 300. This is the first time in UFC history that two Chinese contenders are fighting. Two Chinese fighters are fighting for the same prize. You got the Chinese champion. You got the Chinese contender. China versus China. Kind of crazy. So another history-making fight with this one. This is the first time that we've had two people from China face each other.
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that, if only in regards to population density and how much they value the martial arts in and of themselves.
Well, UFC's a Western company,
Yeah, but I
and
mean, if you're looking for martial arts, there's a couple places you look. China's one of them.
That's just true. But, yeah, it's going to be a good fight. I mean, Weili Zhang, she's coming off a fantastic, absolute dominant performance over Amanda Lemos back at UFC 292. O'Malley versus Sterling. I was present for that fight in Boston. Fucking wild night, man. But Weili Zhang put on the performance of a fucking lifetime. Absolutely dominant. I think she might have had 15 minutes of control time. And she outstruck Amanda Lemos 288 to 21. Dude, what the fuck?
It's weird because I'm pretty sure we also were talking about this in our last podcast.
We were. I love how we were talking about this fight, and now she gets another fight confirmed after we talked about her. And a couple of days ago, I had my buddy Quinn over here, and we were talking about what the fuck's gonna happen to Dustin Poirier now that he's, not in. They're just getting knocked out, and still in the top 5, but everybody else is booked. We were just talking about what the fuck happens to Dustin Poirier, and then here we are, not even a week later, and fucking figured it out.
Maybe not the podcast is cursed, but just your your being.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I do got this little black cloud that follows me every now and again, so
Yeah, so does NF. It works out.
that's true.
Sometimes.
And, the Outcast Army. Anyway, so the fucking performance of a lifetime against Amanda Lemos. Amanda Lemos had her moments, obviously. She got a very tight Darce choke in one of the rounds, but unfortunately, Weili Zhang is Weili Zhang, and fucking broke out of it because she's fucking Weili Zhang. And I gotta be honest, man. If it wasn't for 2 fights against Miss Rose Namajunas, I mean, not that it hinders me from saying it, because I look at Weili Zhang in the same light that I look at Amanda Nunes and shit, or Valentina Shevchenko. I look at her the same way. But, I mean, some people overlook her a lot because they're like, oh, well, Rose beat her twice. I'm like, yeah. But if it wasn't for those 2 losses to Rose, dude, you'd be looking at her the same way I do. As one of, like, the best fighters to ever freaking do it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. This girl is something else. Now, her opponent, Yan Xiaonan, yes. She has the most head strikes given in one fight in UFC strawweight history. I don't know the exact number, but I do know she holds that record. And she's also coming off of a first round knockout over Jessica Andrade at UFC 295 at MSG.
At this point, I'm just wondering what's with all the head strikes.
You know, when 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 you're put into a cage against somebody that you got to fight, you want to knock them out. So why not go for the head? How else are you gonna knock them out? Got to give them some train Brahma. You know what I mean?
But in this situation, both of them are no. Well, at least I think Wei is known for the freaking head strike she just did.
Yep.
It's just like, the notice head strikes also.
Also, here's another fucking head strike for you. But nah, this fight, I know a lot of people overlooked it, but like, guys, this is a crazy fight right here. Zhao Nan just knocked out Jessica Andrade. You don't see Jessica Andrade get knocked out very often. You just don't. She's, former champion, so obviously accolades upon accolades. A matter of fact, it was Weili Zhang beat Jessica Andrade to get the strawweight title the first time. And then, of course, Weili Zhang then got knocked out by Rose Namajunas. Rose got the strawweight title, defended it against Zhang again, and then lost it to Carla Esparza in probably the most boring fight I've ever seen, next to Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero. But, you need some extra melatonin at night because, you can't sleep. Just go ahead and watch that fight. I promise you, you'll be asleep before the second round.
Is that the one I was so utterly disappointed in?
Yeah, it's a co-main event on a pay-per-view card, title fight, and they fucking dance the whole time. Oh my god,
That was when I was still early in the game too. I was just like, wait, this is what's interesting.
yeah, that fight should have been much better than it was. It just wasn't. Plus, like that fight happened right after Michael Chandler front kicked the shit out of Tony Ferguson. So like, dude, like we're like riding high on adrenaline. We're like, holy shit, Michael Chandler just knocked the fuck out of Tony Ferguson. When do you see Tony Ferguson get knocked out? Which is true. You just don't see that. But
And that fight goes on, and you're just asking everyone, "Yo, you want something from
yo,
the fridge?"
you
Or
want something from the fridge? You know, like there's not much going on here, and you want another bag of chips, maybe another soda.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom now. So
I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Let me know if somebody gets punched. Um, and then of course after that, I mean, made up for it because then we got Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira. That fucking wild fight for as long as it the most wild 4 minutes of my fucking life, dude. That fight lasted 4 minutes, but dude, it was fucking crazy. Charles getting knocked down 3 times, fucking Gaethje nearly putting him out, and then it's just Charles doing Charles, coming back and fucking shit up again.
the best part about this was it was kind of really my first introduction to Oliveira, and the entire group of people I was with were all voting against him.
Yeah.
Specifically because American, freaking Gaethje,
hmm
and I'm like, he's pretty good. He's
Like,
doing really well.
like this dude's doing really good. I think your first introduction to Charles Oliveira was against Dustin Poirier, actually, because I think you watched 269 with us, right?
When was that?
That was December of 2021.
Oh
I that we
yeah,
watched it at Michael's apartment.
yeah, yep.
But yeah,
Not the best viewing spot.
my place is better for that shit. I got a bigger TV. Anyway, that was your first introduction to Charles Oliveira, and we were all rooting for Poirier at that time. And then, of course, I went home very dismayed because Dustin Poirier got rear naked choked in the title fight again. After nearly winning it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if you run the statistics, rear naked choke is probably up there as submission.
Yeah, so it's so like this dude wants to choke you out, rear naked choke, like dude wants to do that, and like you just didn't defend it, and I'm like fuck.
I mean, you can see that coming a lot sooner than a twister. That's all
And
I'm
it's
saying.
true. Rear naked chokes are great, they're reliable, but they're also fucking predictable. Like you're going in there and you know that Charles Oliveira is gonna want that rear naked choke, but like shit, man,
Well, that's one of those back to the basics type of things too, because if it ain't broke, don't
don't
fix
fix
it,
it.
and there's a reason why it works so often.
I mean, it was a 1-2 that put Israel Adesanya on his ass against Sean Strickland. So I mean, that's the first punch combination you ever fucking learn is a jab cross, and dude fucked on him with that shit. But like, yeah, the basics win fight. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it. Fucking all Sean Strickland did was parry punches, use some head movement, block, 1-2, and front kick, and he became a champion. Those are basics, guys. And he used not the fancy. He wasn't doing no spinny shit. He wasn't doing no
Spinning
fucking.
back.
He wasn't doing no spinning back fist. He wasn't doing no 360 tornado kicks.
Heel kick to the liver.
Nah, dude, fucking 1-2, front kicked and blocked, and won a title. Like,
Hey.
come on, man. And that's why, like you said, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And like, I'm like trying to like justify, like you should have saw the rear naked choke coming, but shit, man, I get caught in rear naked chokes and I know they're coming. So like, shit, just happens, man. But regardless, though, back to Weili Zhang and Yan Xiaonan here. But honestly, both of these girls are doing pretty good. Xiaonan's coming off that big first round KO, and she was a 2-1 underdog in that fight too. Like nobody thought she was gonna win that shit, and then she fucking slept on Andrade in the first round. I wasn't expecting it. Nobody I was watching it with was expecting it. So fucking here we are. So now they're gonna fight, and it's gonna be a banger, and I can't wait to see it because I mean I would have rather seen Alexa Grasso go against Weili Zhang, and that would have been a crazy fight because then you get Weili Zhang another title opportunity, and then she could possibly become the second ever women's double champion. Which I'd like her chances against Alexa Grasso. I really would, as much as I love Alexa Grasso. But
Maybe
yeah,
they just didn't want to put on weight.
maybe. But anyway, first title fight. I'm sure we're gonna get more. I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway fight for the BMF belt on 300 because that would be fun. And then I'm still sticking to my guns, telling you that Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor's
Yeah, we're
headlining
waiting for
300.
that breaking news. We'll do a short about it as soon as it's announced.
Like, I refuse to believe that it's not going to be on 300, because who else is going to headline 300 other than Conor McGregor? And now USADA's gone. Ah, yeah. USADA's gone. Now both Chandler and McGregor can go and get fucking juiced up. Fuck yeah! But I refuse to believe that it's International Fight Week. I refuse to believe that it's at 185, because this fight means nothing if it's at 185. Like, just give me the Nate Diaz and Conor 3 trilogy fight if you're going to make Conor Chandler be at 185. So many more stakes if you make it at 155, but that's a conversation for another day. Um. Anyway, so almost done here, guys. We
That
got
was page 2.
that was page 2. We're almost done here. So we got one more thing for you, right? So we do have fights this weekend. We have Magomed Ankalaev versus Johnny Walker 2. This is their rematch after their first fight was in Abu Dhabi, and it was a no contest, and the fight only lasted about maybe 3 minutes. So, you know, um, that's how that one went. So, of course, 3 minutes in, Ankalaev tried to take him down. It was like a half-ass takedown, and then he kneed Johnny Walker in the head illegally
Yep.
while he was on the ground.
Yep.
And then the doctor asked him, where was he? And he said, I'm in the desert. And doctor didn't like that response, even though, I mean, he was technically correct. They were in Abu Dhabi,
He wasn't correct enough.
but they didn't like that. They didn't like
Which desert? Specify.
like well, there's a ton of deserts in the world.
What's your latitude and longitude?
Tell us right now. But I apologize for the background noise, guys, if you hear anything. But we're so
What
close.
time zone is it?
What time zone is it? Like,
answer the question.
but shit, guys, it's been. I was hoping, like, as soon as we got that, because I was kind of excited for that fight on UFC 294, and then for it to end so abruptly and anticlimactically,
Disingenuously,
and super anticlimactic.
let downy.
Yeah, because that was an exciting fight. I was actually looking forward to that shit, and then that happened, and I'm like, well, shit, they got to run it back now.
Yeah.
I'm like, that can main event. I said at the time, I'm like, they're gonna have to run it back. Everybody's like, I don't know, will they? I'm like, they have to. There's no, I mean, those two are big enough names, Johnny Walker and Magomed Ankalaev. They can headline any fight night. I think I said that exact same sentence, and sure enough, it rang true. It did. It's now main eventing the first fight night card of the year.
Also, a big problem with it is that there's no closure for a fight like that, because as far as we're concerned, he could have kept going. Desert's acceptable.
Desert is very
Give him like
acceptable.
2 more seconds to have gone the city, I'm sure, and then you could have had a nice fight.
Also, you gotta admit, like, Johnny Walker, English isn't his first language. He's Brazilian. He's Portuguese. So obviously his English might not. That was the best way he could describe it at that time. I mean, his English is great now. If you see his interview with Nina Drama.
Where was that one and only translator they have for any of the goddamn romantic languages that I'm convinced is on some type of list somewhere?
He's probably not allowed within about 30 yards of a preschool. But ha 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 ha. Where's my? Yeah.
Albert was like, no, he can't come.
No, he can't come.
But why?
But why? Well, you see.
He has suspicious eyes and suspicious hair.
And a suspicious beard. Very suspicious beard. It's like stubble. It doesn't look right. But yeah, so this is an exciting matchup. And it's a big fight at 205. And 205 is a division that fucking needs a big fight. I've commonly said this. 205 has been a messy division since John Jones and DC left the division. Because for the longest time, them two were just anchoring down that division, right? Now, John Jones moves up to heavyweight. Daniel Cormier moves up to heavyweight, then retires, right? And that leaves not a whole lot of people to, carry not a whole lot of name value. You had Glover Teixeira, sure, but Glover Teixeira's retired now. So, like, there's a lack of big names and shit at light heavyweight. A little bit different now that Alex Pereira's champion. Yuri Prohaska's made a name for himself. So has Ankalaev and Walker themselves.
I How do you think Adesanya would do in that division?
I mean, he already tried to go up there once and he failed.
Because Pereira invited him up, right?
Yeah, he did. And I don't know. I mean, Izzy would be small for light heavyweight. He really would be.
But there's certain advantages to that
Yeah, he'd be faster. But then fucking Alex Pereira will touch him and he'll just fucking
too.
die.
No, but I'm interested to like shake up the division. Like maybe not get the title, maybe get a shot at the title, but on the way there ruffle feathers, you know?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't know. We already saw Adesanya go up there once against Jan Blachowicz, and he tried to beat Jan Blachowicz to become a two division champion because he
Jan's
fucking.
nice though,
That's true.
you
And
know?
I don't know though.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting.
It'd be interesting. I know Izzy's put on some mass. He definitely put on a lot of mass before the last Pereira fight, just so he could have a little bit more muscle and a little bit more power. And I mean, it obviously paid off. I mean, look at the guy, fucking knocked him out cold. But
That shit happened in slow motion for me. Like,
yeah. So,
just that bounce right off, and yeah, it was nice.
but yeah, it was a crazy fight. And well, shit. I don't know how Izzy does up there now, but I mean, he went up there before and he looked fucking small. I'll just say that him next to Jan Blachowicz, Jan was so much bigger than him, man. And like that's how he won the fight. He wrestled him to death, really. He just kind of laid on top of him and didn't really let him escape through a couple of ground punches and elbows. And that was how he won the fight. And that's how Israel Adesanya got his first UFC loss. But I don't know. 205, like I said though, it needs big fights. That division needs to be built up again, and it is slowly getting there. I mean, you got characters like Yuri Prohaska in there. A name like Alex Pereira is definitely going to escalate your division, especially if he's the champion. And then you got Jamal Hill in there, Johnny Walker and Ankalaev themselves. But
Think anyone from Bellator could show up?
to be honest, I don't really know a whole lot of Bellator light heavyweights outside of Yoel Romero, and Yoel Romero was already in UFC and parted ways with the company. So, I couldn't tell you. And plus, Bellator just got bought out by PFL. They're like the same company now. I don't know. It's fucking wild. But shit. The I think I think the winner of this fight gets a number one contender fight at least. Because we also have another fight on UFC 300, Yuri Prohaska and Alexander Rakic. Rakic coming off of an injury, and then Yuri Prohaska coming off of getting knocked the fuck out by Alex Pereira. So,
Pereira
actually,
tends to have that effect on people.
yeah, he's just this big ass motherfucking Brazilian and just touches you and you fucking die. Like that's just
Touches you and pain explodes from that spot.
yeah, he just touches you and you fucking die. Like that's that. Like fucking end of story. Cut and dry. But I think the winner gets the number one contender fight. I think the winner of this one probably gets the of loser of Alexander Rakic and Yuri Prohaska, which I would love to see Rakic or Prohaska against Ankalaev or Walker. I think those are great fights to have. Because obviously when Jamal Hill comes back, he's gonna waltz right into a title shot. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. He didn't lose that belt. He tore his Achilles playing basketball and had to relinquish it. He didn't have to, but he still did. Because we got John Jones with a torn pec and he didn't relinquish his title. But whatever. We got Tommy Aspinall as our interim champion now, so we're good. And so I think winner gets of probably the loser of Rakic and Prohaska, and then the winner of Rakic Prohaska will get the winner of Hill and Pereira. So I think light heavyweights got some good footing right now, and God did they fucking need it. So we're chilling with that. Now we're gonna talk a couple of advantages for Mr. Johnny Walker here, and then we're gonna talk about some advantages. And we're gonna give a little prediction for the weekend, and then we're gonna get the fuck out of here, y'all. So Johnny Walker, this man's 6'5", 80-something inch reach. That dude's pretty fucking big. So he's got long reach. He's got an awkward striking style. He's very unpredictable, and he's explosive and he's powerful. And you just never know what his next move is gonna be. That's the fun part about watching a Johnny Walker fight. Is you don't know what he's gonna do next. Like he'll fake a body shot and then he'll just jump up with a flying knee. dudes like that. He's like Nate Diaz, like when Nate Diaz would like take breaks mid-fight, and then all of a sudden just come at you with a 1-2, and then you're just not expecting it. That's kind of how Johnny Walker is. You don't know what he's gonna do. And I mean, in the first fight, even though it only lasted 3 minutes, he did kind of stuff Ankalaev's takedown in a way. Ankalaev, like, he barely got it, but it was like a half-ass takedown. Johnny Walker kind of basically got right back up. Then once he got back up, then he dragged him down again. Then of course the knee happened, and then so here we are. So I mean, he did kind of stuff that takedown, and he is the taller fighter. He's got a longer reach, so I wouldn't doubt that he'll see a shot coming at him again, and he can catch him with a knee or an uppercut or something. And but then I know I'm talking up Johnny Walker's talking up a storm about Johnny Walker right here, but you gotta think about Ankalaev, man. This dude's got a massive chip on his shoulder. Not only did he draw in his first bid for the title against Jan Blachowicz,
Because that happens. Draws.
because draws happen. Not only did he draw, and that's already gonna motivate you to want to get back to that picture again, because like nobody really won. There's no closure there, Even though at the end of the fight, Ankalaev looked fucking great. He was like dominating Jan Blachowicz. He just got pounded on for like the first 2.5 rounds. Then he started to come alive in the fourth and the fifth. Maybe the end of the third. But regardless, Magomed Ankalaev is still dangerous, and he's got a massive chip on his shoulder. Not only does, like I said, did he draw in his first bid for the title, but his first fight back, illegal knee and no contest against a guy that, if he beat him, he would have easily waltzed right back into the picture. Like, hey, I just beat Johnny Walker. He's got some steam behind him right now. Jamal Hill's out. Fuck it, let me fight for the title at MSG and not Alex Pereira. But that didn't happen, obviously. And so, first big advantage for Magomed Ankalaev. He's a Dagestani. Need I say more? He's a Dagestani. He wrestled with bear.
Just resume. All right. What's the first advantage? Dagestan. Okay.
I don't think I really need to say much more there.
qualified.
He's friggin' Dagestani, so of course he's got a big advantage there. He's got extremely good wrestling. He will just break your will, no matter what. Smothering top control.
That's how the Dagestanis do it.
And, he's got decent striking. I'm not going to say he's the most technical. I'd say the best striker out of all the Daggies right now is Islam Makhachev, because the dude's crispy with it. But, Magomed's got the the normal. He's got the fundamentals. He can stand with somebody and he can wrestle with you. But it really doesn't matter if you know how to wrestle in a fight. You can dictate where the fight goes. Doesn't matter what. That's why I always say, like, people ask, like, oh, what martial arts should I do? I'm like, wrestling. By every means, wrestling. Because, I mean, if you can wrestle, you just own the whole fight. If you want to stay standing, you want to stand and bang, you can stand and bang. But the minute you start getting outstruck, you can just take them right down and just know what to do. The only disadvantage that comes with wrestling is there's not much, like, finishing capabilities with it. You need to mix some jiu-jitsu or some ground strikes with it. But wrestling base is tremendous for any MMA fight. Let's see. He's an absolute cardio monster too. I mean, he came alive in rounds 4 and 5 of a title fight after getting solidly beat on for a good portion of the match prior to that. So, dude's got good cardio. He can hang in there. He can weather the storm. He can deal with the damage. And he comes back and he fucking dominates. So, like, of course, absolute cardio monster. And, it's just a complete workhorse on the ground. He's always doing something. Always attempting submissions. Always pounding your face in. Always trying to smother you, drag you right back down. So, there's your advantages for both guys. And, y'all, I'm going to be rooting for Johnny Walker. But Magomed Ankalaev destroys him. Cut and dry.
I think I got Walker for this.
You got Walker?
I do. I think he's upset that the fight was DC'd, was it?
Oh, no contest.
No contest.
N-seed.
N-seed. And I think he's going to have some words to say about that.
Yep.
And they won't be desert.
They will
They
not.
will be expressed with fist.
It will be his His disapproval of the doctor's decision will be expressed through his fists. So anyway, guys.
Then I'm hoping that Walker catapults.
Yeah, because I like Johnny Walker, man. I really do like Johnny Walker, and I would love to see him rematch with Jamal Hill. Even a fight with Alex Pereira is very intriguing to me when it comes to Johnny Walker. But that'll do it for this week. I'm so happy the fights are back. We'll be coming at you next week with a fucking pay-per-view podcast because Strickland's defending against Duplessis, and we got a pretty solid card to back it up. And thank you guys for tuning in. I know this was actually this is about the average that we usually do, about an hour and a half. So I'd like to thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your time. Go follow us on social media. It's some version of Front Row Access. It's either front.row.access or front_row_access. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow the podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. And we're also on X now, so go and follow us there.
And don't worry, Spotify. You're going to get the content that you're missing.
Yeah, Spotify's going to get a fucking content dump in a second. I'm going to upload like 3 videos at once.
I'm going to be honest. When you were talking earlier saying, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, I thought you were going to start going about Tony Ferguson, the type of guy.
Hey, man, I tried to manifest it into reality. Just didn't fucking work. Unfortunately. Hey, Tony Ferguson hasn't lost a fight yet this year, so we're good.
New year, new you.
New year, new him. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the Front Row Access Podcast, and we are signing out.